So we have Mr. Adalbert here.
Now, this is something that I kind of slightly praise Final Fantasy IX for, because in adventure games, fantasy adventure games, it's usually the guy with the sword that's the protagonist, and he's usually this really cool warrior guy, right? Okay, so our swordsman is this big, stocky, tin can man who's just, making fun of the knight trope completely.
Yeah,
I love him for it.
Steiner's kind of a joke, really.
Workaholic buffoon.
Yeah, but I will say, in battle, he's a good character to have around.
Oh no,
he has the best trance in the game. Just makes him 3 times stronger.
No, he was able to I didn't try not to grind as much as possible, but he was able to one-shot most enemies in the area actually.
Early game, especially if you're working on building up Zidane thievery, Steiner is going to be your primary attacker while Zidane picks everyone's pockets.
Yeah, for most of the game, Steiner is pretty powerful. It's just like, if you're playing the game right, quote unquote, he sort of falls out of use toward the end, because you'll have other characters that can dish out more damage quickly.
Amarant.
With specific abilities that do multi-hits and stuff.
Well, that's just generally like an RPG. This goes for almost every RPG, from Dungeons and Dragons to Final Fantasy, is that physical attackers are useful towards the beginning of the game where your mages can't do jack, and they kind of grow linearly over the course of the game, whereas the mages will grow exponentially, in that they'll be kind of useless at the start except for a specific thing, and then they shoot up. Magic becomes the main damage dealer by the end.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily true in the more modern Final Fantasies. In fact, this is the only one where I can really say it's true. But one of the things that sets Final Fantasy IX apart in terms of difficulty compared to the 7, 8, and 10 is that you don't really have all that many multi-hit abilities late game. So you're not going to be dealing out Omni/tier damage all over the place.
No.
And that's why the final boss can still get away with being one of the hardest final bosses in the Final Fantasy series, despite only having 65,000 HP.
Same goes with Ozma. Ozma doesn't have. I think it has the same, if not a little lower than the max HP of the final boss, but he can get away with that because A, you don't have multi hits, and B, because it's fucking Ozma.
But here's the thing. Okay, that makes the end game for this game feel a lot less repetitive to me than it does in Final Fantasy 7 and 8, because you're not just relying on those 2 or 3 big abilities that do a fuckload of hits and damage.
I think it also helps that having 65,000 health is an awful lot less than several million that one boss in Final Fantasy 12 had or something.
Yazmat has 50 million fucking HP.
What?
Oh, don't even get me started on the optional bosses in the Final Fantasy 13 games.
It's just, can we stop? Granted, I'm talking as a person who has never gotten that far in 12. I don't find myself getting that far in 12 at any point anytime soon. But 50 million HP, spending 2-3 hours on this boss? Holy shit!
I can sort of understand
Wait, you can find Kina in here?
It's not Kina.
Yeah.
No, it's head chef.
Oh.
Yeah, it's head chef.
It looks like Kina.
I assure you it's head chef.
It's the same model. But
No, it's actually her.
It's Kina. You just don't find. I think they very briefly allude to her being here, but it's never really deliberately underlined.
Oh, I'm actually a little surprised. You guys pronounce it as Kina. I've always pronounced it as Quina. Is it as a?
I always pronounce it as Kina.
Is it a tomato sort of thing? Well, I always pronounce it as Quina.
Well, I used to say Quina as well, but then I played Dragon's Dogma, and early on you meet a character in Dragon's Dogma named Kina. And the game is voice acted, so you can't really mispronounce it. So
I don't know, because Selphie in Kingdom Hearts 2 said Titus when it's Titus.
Isn't there an evil book in there somewhere?
Later.
Later, okay.
I do it early in the game, so.
Oh, you're going for the early battle. Oh.
Yay, minus strike. Minus strike and antibody. Antibody everywhere.
Oh yeah. One of the things about Final Fantasy IX that you're going to discover really fast is that status ailments will kick your ass. So a lot of your ability points are going to go into status ailment blockage.
There's something they transitioned back to in terms of how status effects worked, because in I can't speak for 8, so you're going to have to answer that for me, Lewis. But in Final Fantasy VII, stat effects were wiped away as soon as the battle ended. So if you were poisoned or shrunken or towed, by the end of the battle, you were back to normal.
What's
in
that,
9,
Cloud? You only have status-inducing spells? Why? Those
suck! But in 9, they stick with you. So if you're
Yeah.
poisoned, you got darkness, silence, you got to take care of those when you can. Did 8 do that? Like, did 8 reset the characters at the end of the battle?
I think 8 might have kept poison but I might be misremembering because a lot of games just keep specific status ailments and then wipe the rest away after battles. I haven't played 8 in ages because that's one game that I just can't go back to anymore. But Final Fantasy IX, okay, there are some really rare status effects that you'll rarely run into, but they have really... Okay, zombie. If you die while zombied, you can't be brought back.
You got to get rid of the zombie effect first, and then use the Phoenix down.
And that happened to me during the final boss for 2 of my characters.
I would say Venom is one of the worst, too.
Yeah.
HP, MP, SAP, and you can't move.
Does Final Fantasy IX have virus?
Yes, it does. And fuck that status. Because I hate that status.
Okay, buy plenty of those from Zorn and Thor later in the game.
Here's the thing about virus, for those who don't know this particular status effect, because not many RPGs use this anymore, but virus prevents you from leveling up or gaining experience.
Yes.
I liked using the virus spell in Final Fantasy IV. That was pretty good. Like, it cost less MP than most of the tier 3 spells and did...
I liked virus in 4 simply because I love the spell animation and the sound effect.
Wait, what does virus in 4 do?
It's bio.
It's bio. It does a lot of damage. It's non-elemental, I think. So it's just and it costs less MP than like Thundara.
So it's your poison attack spell. Yeah, I never really understood that about the poison attack spell because it's like they make it a damage spell too, just to give you a reason to cast it. But if you're casting a spell for damage, you're probably casting an elemental spell. So I only ever use bio in any context in Final Fantasy VIII, where there are a lot of human enemies and humans are weak to poison.
By the way, all the details given of your Plutonites, you're going to need to remember them for much later for some reason.
Oh wait, you actually get something if you find all of them? I found like 7 and was like, fuck it, I'm just going up the tower. But you get an elixir, that's really good for this point in the game.
You also need to remember. You also need to remember other details. Yeah.
Well, yeah. When you pick up elixirs this early in a Final Fantasy game, you just keep it in your inventory until disc 2.
No, I'm never gonna use. I never use this shit until the final boss, like ever.
It's too precious.
No.
That and mega elixirs.
Oh no, you never use mega elixirs until final bosses and super bosses. What are you, mad?
Yeah.
I love the CG that's coming up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. This is a really great CG. And the CG by this point in the series was already really good because Final Fantasy VIII had great CG. But it's especially good here because everyone is not realistic.
Something about the faces on everybody in the CG kind of looks odd to me. Like, particularly Steiner and Zidane just look weird for some reason.
I give you more with Zidane, but they're definitely emphasizing more of the cartoonish element, what they can get away with character designs like this. Because imagine Squall or Cloud doing this sort of shit. You couldn't take this seriously. Cloud and Squall doing this.
I love this.
I love Steiner.
He's got his arms spread out like he's flying.
To infinity and
I like how his foot twitches at the end there. It's like look at his shoes. His shoes look like sneakers without socks.
That's pretty much what he's wearing.
He's wearing Air Alexandria. God.
Only the hippest and most fresh style in the city. Jeez.
You gotta love how this band is playing completely independent of the music playing in the background. It's like they've got
actually,
like a...
That was actually really funny that the music kind of goes haywire when she runs. That's one thing I will definitely credit Final Fantasy IX for is that they have very expressive character models. Because the way that they do text in this game is not that they have like a text bar on the bottom of the screen, but they have the text appear over the characters' heads. So you'll see characters do little things while other characters are talking. Like when when Garnet landed on Zidane, she did like a little bow, like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." And like later on, there are things where like Zidane and Garnet will be talking, and then Steiner will shake his fist because he's annoyed while they're just saying whatever they're trying to say. It's a very good way to express emotion without dialogue, which is nice.
Yeah, and the 7 and 8 did that sort of thing too, but it's more expressive here because the cartoony nature of the art style lets them get away with more exaggerated animations.
Yeah, and one thing 9 really does, again, I can't speak for 8 because I didn't get very far in 8, or I don't remember much of 8, that 9 has right is dynamic camera angles. Like, you'll get, for scenes like this, a split second of a different view, but I think it adds to the cutscene. Yeah. 7 didn't do that, I know for a fact. And
8 does it to a point, but I don't think it does it as much as 9.
Yeah.
The, one of the things that Ryan didn't do, though, is you can actually change your text box color to blue, to emphasize that classicness,
Yeah.
Because all the Super Nintendo games had blue text boxes. I always do that because it makes the text easier to read.
You can change the colors in the SNES games as well, if I remember.
In Final Fantasy VII, you could just straight up change the color of the text boxes to whatever you wanted, and you could change the colors of all four corners so that it faded into whatever. You could make your text boxes into straight up sweet rave parties, but but I always change the text boxes in this game to blue because it makes the white text easier to follow.
I like the gray backgrounds. Because before 9, I played around with the window settings in 6, and I played Chrono Trigger, which has the gray windows by default. I really find it an issue. I'm on the opposite side of you. I don't like the blue window for 9. I think it needs the white borders. Like, without it, it's weird.
Yeah, only some of the windows have the white borders. That's true. The I just find that the text pops more easily, so I change it to that.
Yeah.
My all-time favorite text box and stuff customization is actually Wild Arms 1 because you could pixel art your own icons in that game. You could draw your own icons for everything.
That's pretty cool.
Dumbass.
Come on, that hole is not big enough for you to get stuck in. You'd have to be Steiner.
It is blank in the armor, so.
Oh no, he's fucking around on purpose, which I actually.
Yeah. I know. But what is he? Freaking telekinetic? Is he hovering? Is he like holding himself in the air?
And also, like, the little detail that I didn't really notice until, like, in hindsight later on, because Blank's character design is that his eyes are completely covered. Like, how the fuck can he see? Or maybe he's like Matt Murdock. I don't know, but even even dressing up as an armor, like as a soldier, his eyes are completely covered in black.
Oh wait,
so
you can mess with the wheel. What does that do?
Yeah. Yep, you get treasure.
One of the other things about Marcus, though, is if you can't really see it unless you look really close at his character model or at his character portrait when he temporarily joins your party later on. But he's an orc.
Yeah, or a goblin. I always figured.
He's a straight up World of Warcraft orc. he's got the big jaw and the teeth popping out and everything.
So you could spin the wheel left or right too far in one direction, and both you get 2 treasure chests for doing this.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Final Fantasy IX is pretty big on having hidden treasures that you can do weird things.
Oh, absolutely! Get. I would say it's the most apparent with it.
And I'm guessing that means that there's a lot of treasures you can miss permanently then.
Yes.
Yeah, well, more so if you progress to Disc 4, because in Disc 4, to save disk space because of all the fucking FMVs they crammed onto the last disc, they also block you from entering certain areas in the past. It's not nearly as obnoxious as Final Fantasy VIII, because you can still get into some towns and stuff, but, there are these massive tree roots that pop up in the world map that block you from getting into older areas.
One of them being Esto Gaza, which I hate, because I love Esto Gaza's music.
Oh, well.
I can still fight the zombie whale, though. Oh, boy. Yeah, I wanted to fight that thing again.
Well, hey, you needed to get level 5 death.
But it's a fuck... Did you see that thing? Are you showing that battle off jumping the gun?
Yes, I am.
Oh, Christ.
Because I get level 5 death.
How completionist are you being with blue magic and stuff?
I show quite a bit early on, but I really don't care because I don't use Kina much as a blue magic, because Vivi does the job just fine.
Yeah. It's like with most blue mages in these games. You got your silk shirt. Good.
Wait, so we stole the silk shirt we just got from the
it's a different one.
It's a different one.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This way you get 2.
Yeah, you can steal a silk shirt from Steiner, but you can also get another silk shirt as Steiner that goes into your party inventory.
So you can
So you
take
can get
Steiner's silk shirt and then give him that silk shirt back when he joins your team.
Already has, yeah. Like, hey, my bad. My bad.
Somehow you got an item multiplication glitch. Yeah. Okay.
I gotcha. I love this little animation right here.
I really like the
Yeah.
battle theme for this game too.
Yeah.
But he does this, and you sort of wonder why you can't do it when you play as him.
Because the one use.
Because clothes
only.
removal beam is almost as useless as stairway beam.
Yeah, and you know what? You say that, but you know that he thinks about it. Should I use this attack?
No,
Last time
do you
I
know-
did that.
You know what ability that's supposed to be? It's supposed to be armor break.
Well, I think he forgot it out of fright because the last time he did it, he got infested. He got attacked by Oglops, man.
Yeah, no, I think
The wall behind him exploded into Uglops, and he lost all his upgrades, and then he had to go around finding them again.
Freaked them out.
You know,
Now he has PTSD.
It's good that the honorable character has the clothes removal beam, because if Zidane had that, oops, Garnet, sorry, I accidentally cast clothes removal on you. Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought I had the ability.
You
to protect
joke
Rose
about
off.
that, but he would do that.
I know he would. That's why it's good he doesn't have it.